Hey guys, if you're just getting into stacking, I've got 5 tips here for stacking silver and gold that I think you're going to want to listen to. These are things that I have developed over the course of a couple years now, and just really things that I live by or go by, and they've really helped me build my stack and continue to build wealth. All right, so I just went up and picked up a nice quarter ounce gold eagle from my local coin shop. I noticed that the what do you call it? Spot price has dropped a little bit, so went ahead and picked that up. So what brings me to my first big topic is starting a budget, having a routine. So if you've been stacking for any amount of time, you know that the last thing you want to do is buy a bunch of coins and then turn around and have to sell them. So you want to make sure that you have the funds needed to support what you want to buy every month. So whether that be a 10th ounce of gold, a gram, a quarter ounce, an ounce, if you want to get some silver, you need to make sure that you have the funds available. So that does not necessarily mean that, hey, I have $1,000 to drop, currently on a quarter ounce every month, but I set aside a budget and I know exactly how much I left aside for stacking. So whether that be $200 or $400 a month, and then you decide how much of that you want to spend per month or how much you want to save and roll over to the next month to buy whichever item. So this time I just happened to not spend the budget last month and went ahead and combined it and got the quarter ounce. Any size gold or silver I think is a great start, as long as you are consistent and you set the habit. So consistency is where this will pay off. That's what's going to preserve wealth going long term, is having that consistent stack, having a consistent budget. You always continue to grow, no matter what it is. Now, that being said, consistency is not everything. You really need to be careful or be mindful of premiums. You don't want to just give your stack away, but definitely have some fun with it. Enjoy, get what you want. Something that makes you happy when you're doing the stack. So my second tip here is this is not a get rich quick. You're going to be able to build wealth over time. The longer you're in, the more metals you should be able to acquire. However, if you're trying to buy something this month and flip it next month, most likely that is not going to be a good game plan, and you're probably going to be very disappointed when you go to sell. You might buy this, for example. I think right now this is going online for like $160. I bet if I were to take this into a shop or try to sell it, I might get, I don't even honestly know, probably $100 for it. So if you bought for 160 and you're trying to sell for 100, you're going to learn real quick that that's not the best way to do it. So one of the third things I've learned is to take it slow. I've acquired, this is a little bit that I have on the tray. I've gotten this, even just this amount, over the course of probably 3, maybe 4 or 5 months. I started out with some of these buffaloes, basically expanded, moved over to some eagles. I don't have anything on the tray right now that is a full tube, and that's why it's on the tray. So once everything gets to a full tube, it gets stored. I combine it, put everything in tubes or everything in monster boxes, depending on the size, and it goes in the safe or safety deposit box and gets stored away. So anything that I have that is loose, this is still I'll call it my ongoing stack that I play with and touch and enjoy. And then once I get to, let's say, a full tube of maple leafs, the maple leafs will go into the tube and they will be stored away. So the fourth thing is keep cash on hand. You definitely want, as much as we don't like this stuff, you need to keep some cash on hand so that when there is a dip, you are prepared. You can go in and buy on the dip. If you only have a budget of 200, and that's all the cash you keep, you're going to be disappointed if you go in and you want to buy something like a quarter ounce or something because the market dipped. but you don't have enough cash on hand. So I highly recommend, if I can't buy it 3 times, I don't have enough cash. So, for example, the quarter ounce, my rule of thumb is I need to have $4,000 in order to buy 1/4 ounce. That way I don't get into any type of trouble. Let me know if something else works for you guys, but I personally like the 4-to-1. It's probably a little bit conservative, but it allows for any emergencies. This emergency fund is really just related to cash or related to precious metals. So I have other emergency funds, of course, in my finance budget. But as far as, precious metals are concerned, if I can't buy 4 of them, I hold off, or I'll buy something a little bit more fractional. I did save pretty much all year to get to that and start the $4,000 fund. But then once I went to pull the trigger, I said, I wasn't really comfortable dropping all of the cash that I had. So I went ahead and took a step back and said, okay, nope, I'm going to buy a couple quarters. And I'll do that for the next, few months until I can get a little bit more cash, or hopefully the market will dip and I'll get a better value for the metals that I am buying. All right, and the 5th tip is track your records. I know APMEX has a part of their process, or part of their online deal is you can track it there. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of keeping something online or on data. So I have spreadsheets. I also do use a paper log, and I keep those in 2 different locations because I don't want, if something were to happen to my computer and I can't access that, I want to be able to get to the paper log. So that's one, the 5th thing I would recommend is just have some type of way to track your data. I'm not going to share the tool that I use because I think there's probably many of them out there that are probably honestly better than mine. I don't really track much other than the price that I paid and the premiums. And it's really just more for taxing purposes. So when the government decides to steal more, I'll be ready and be able to actually produce the records. So, hey guys, if you got anything from this, do me a favor, give me a like or thumbs up. Next up on my list, I have some fractional videos. So if you want to see anything fractional, click on the video on your screen.